Hello everyone. Today we'll start with class 11, chapter number 8, local government. You must be knowing that local government, whenever we are talking about local government, it means the level of the government which we are talking in terms of rural as well as urban. So, whenever local government means it's the government at the village and the district level, it's always a people friendly administration, we believe, because uh, people are the main source and people can approach the local government for solving their problems both quickly and with minimum cost. So the main benefit of local government is that it's used for democratic decision making. It is about meaningful participation. It's an accountable form of government. It ensures both active participation, and it is that level of government where the common citizens are directly involved in decision making, because they can be collected at one place and they can sort out their problems with the help of sarpanch, pradhan or president, and their problems are related with the daily lives, the daily necessities, or what the government should look at what aspects the government should look at. So here the people basically know what their problems are, how much money they require for their problems, and which are the areas where that money can be utilized. And that is why people are the main decision makers at the local level. Now, coming on to the growth of the local government, let us discuss how local government has grown in India and what our constitution says about it. So these village bodies, it's not that the local bodies have been existing as and when the amendments took place after the establishment of the constitution. In fact, it is existing from the earliest times in the form of sabhas, which are known as village assemblies. And also these panchayats means it's a body of 5 persons. So these 5 persons are involved in settling the disputes which erupt at the village level, and their functions kept on changing at different points of time. For example, if you talk about the time when the British came, the local government bodies were created after 1882 when Lord Ripon was the viceroy. He initiated in creating these bodies in the form of local boards. And then, with the efforts of Indian National Congress, there were local bodies which were made to be more functioning in a more effective manner. So they passed many acts. Like one of the most famous acts was the Government of India Act 1919, through which village panchayats were established in a number of provinces, and this continued after the establishment of Government of India Act of 1935. Similarly, Mahatma Gandhi also, when he started with various movements, his main concern was decentralization, decentralization of economic and political power, and how village panchayats should be strengthened so that it gives a meaning to the local people in real terms. And he was very much concerned about the concentration of powers, especially in the hands of the governor generals, who used to sit and take major decisions for India at Delhi. Therefore, for our leaders, independence meant an assurance that there will be decentralization of decision making, and administrative powers are also handled with the help of people's needs that has to be taken into consideration. So when the constitution was prepared, the subject of local government was basically the responsibility of the states. It was also mentioned in the directive principles as one of the policy directives to all the governments in the country. And directive principles, that unlike fundamental rights that are justiciable in character, these are non justiciable. And these act as a guidance or an advisory with respect to its nature. So, this subject of local government, including panchayats, did not receive importance in the constitution for a couple number of years, and this was mainly because of two reasons. One reason was the partition related problems, the challenges which the country was facing, especially with respect to accommodating various diversities, and the challenges with the princely states, drawing the boundaries, and also the partition related resettlement of the people in the form of the refugee problem had to be sorted out. So due to partition, there resulted a strong unitary inclination in the constitution, and Nehruji was himself very much adamant about uh, this extreme localism, which could be seen as a threat to unity and integrity of the nation. So this is the first reason. Second reason is there were many leaders in the Constituent Assembly who felt that there are factions which have been created in the society, and felt that faction and caste ridden nature of rural society would defeat the noble purpose of local government. So, this powerful voice was raised by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as and when the India got partitioned on the basis of the two nation theory on religious lines. So nobody denied the importance of people's participation. There were many members who wanted village panchayats to be the basis of democracy in India, but at the same time they were also concerned about factions, the groups which were being created in the internal society, and through these groups people were suffering as a result of the violent successionist movements, or the ills which were present, the violence that erupted between major communities. And that is why there is a saying by Ananta Sayanam Iyengar. He says that in the interest of democracy, the villages may be trained in the art of self government, even autonomy. We must be able to reform the villages and introduce democratic principles of government there. So his idea was that the democratic we are democratic in nature, but the democracy is not being applied properly, especially when talking about the government operating at the local level, because the funds are not being allocated properly from the state governments, and they are totally influenced by the states. So sometimes the states are overshadowing the problems which the local governments are highlighting from time to time. So, as a result of this, the real democratic principles are not being reflected, and they should be recognized. So, keeping these points in view, there were some developments, local governments in independent India. So, local government got a fillip after the Amendment Acts of 73rd and 74th Amendment Acts. So, we'll continue the next class about this local governments in independent India. Thank you so much.